The rising number of reported suicides among Nigerians in recent times is unsettling. While the circumstances surrounding the reported suicide cases differ, the common thread linking the departed individuals appears to be depression. In this report, TVC News Anchor Bukola Samuel-Wemimo examines the problem of depression and suicides among Nigerian youth.
And I had to
She is all of 23, but Georgina Madu may have seen it all. Abused at only 8, ordered to walk undressed to the assembly ground while in secondary school, and then attempting to bring her own life to an end at 12. But Gina, as she is fondly called, has healed with only scars left. She now talks about her past with ease.
On this particular day, the neighbor I had to stay with was not around, so I had to go to another neighbor, and the person was just, it was the guy, he was just telling me, come now, just want to stay, because we all know the person now in the flat. And so I went in and I sat there, and the next thing, he brought out his private part, and then he was like, go down on me, and I'm like, I'm a kid, I really don't know what is go down on me or any of that stuff. So I sat there, I did what he asked me to do, but I remember him using bells to flog me. One day I came back home, I just felt, no, there's nothing I'm doing here. So I just went to where my mom's perfumes were and all of that, and I just opened it and boom. Last I remember, I was just on the floor vomiting, and when I opened my eyes, we were at the hospital.
What is depression?
Depression is a mood disorder, and it's a kind of illness that affects one's thinking, feeling, and behavior. It's usually characterized by loss of interest, low mood or sadness, feeling of fatigue, withdrawing from others, that's social withdrawal, and not really having the zeal or motivation to function. In fact, it's been said that 60% of people who committed suicide actually had depression.
The reality of depression among Nigerians is evident in the worrying number of attempted and successful suicide cases reported. Perhaps the most curious in the latest string of reported suicide cases is that of 400-level young poet Chukwuemeka Akachi from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. Akachi was clearly a broken young man who left behind on his Facebook account a chilling suicide note, preceded by disturbing messages that no one appeared to take note of until it was too late. It was also too late for Michael, Ebuka, and others who recently decided to make the final exit.
The World Health Organization statistics are just as scary as this popular suicide spot, Third Mainland Bridge. 800,000 people die annually by suicide. That is one person every 40 seconds. Also, 79% of all suicides occur in low and middle income countries as Nigeria.
Others, like this young man, a 26-year-old welder, who spoke to us on condition of anonymity, is lucky to live to tell his own story. Hours before this interview, he had just been rescued from the treacherous waters flowing beneath the Third Mainland Bridge after taking a plunge. He was brought to the Command and Control Center of the Lagos Emergency Management Agency. While being interviewed, Michael avoids eye contact, and curiously, his story does not add up.
I don't get any money, I don't get anything. So okay. So I did work. Come out for that hospital, general hospital. I crossed like 3 times. I fall for wood. Before I enter water, I don't know waiting carry me enter water.
It is however heartwarming to note that the number of suicides and attempted suicide cases reported in the first and second quarters of 2019 is a significant reduction from those turned in for last year at the Lagos Police Command.
Why did the figure reduce? It is a deliberate policy that we put in place. We analyzed what happened last year. Most of those suicide cases last year happened around the Third Mainland Bridge. People go to the lagoon and they jump and kill themselves. Now, The command now deployed teams. You can see rapid response vehicle positions at on that axis. Then down again we have our marine team, patrol teams.
What would cause a man or woman to want to take his or her own life?
Some kill themselves because their family abandoned them. One of the successful one, he left a note that his wife left with his kids, and he felt that he has no reason to live again. In one of those cases, the victim left a note. Even before then, he put a call across to his siblings. He said that I have difficulty renewing my rent, and the landlord is making life difficult for me. If you don't contribute money for me to pay rent now, then you contribute money for my burial.
One of the aforementioned may have caused young Lagos-based medical doctor Allwell Orji to plunge into the treacherous waters beneath the Third Mainland Bridge in the year 2017.
Those with suicidal tendencies may have begun to look beyond the Third Mainland Bridge to another method for a quick exit. The PRO of the Lagos Police Command confirms this.
The few ones we have this year, which were about 5 or thereabout, were done through the use of sniper, because they discover they can't really get to the usual point where people easily go jump and die. Now they go in, buy sniper somewhere, then go back and quietly take it.
The suicide story of the 15-year-old sibling of this young man who craves anonymity is another product of a broken relationship. His parents have been separated for more than a decade.
She actually went to the room, taking her own towel, then she took sniper with it and had to tie it to cover the sniper. Then she took it to the bedroom. She took it inside the bedroom. So nobody knew what happened because they thought it's a normal thing like going to the bedroom to take your bath. So before she go for like a rehearsal, then before you know it, she actually take it and she actually died inside the bedroom. I blame my mom because she's not close to her. I don't know, maybe she has a boyfriend. Maybe her boyfriend broke up with her and maybe she went to, I don't know what happened.
Being the only child of a single mom, Gina suffered a lonely childhood and explains the dilemma she experienced, which prevented her from confiding in her mom about how her young neighbor sexually abused her over a 2-year period.
Aside from trying to provide me with every single thing I needed at that time, because there was no man in the picture, just the two of us. So she was always trying to make sure I had the best of everything.
She could have asked you what the problem was.
She herself was going through her own level of depression.
Suicidal.
Broadcast journalist Mary Chinda hosts a WhatsApp group where depression sufferers get therapy. But experience, they say, is the best teacher. Having overcome depression and suicidal tendencies herself, still, it is not a past she shares very easily.
And it's usually not easy for me because even as a caregiver, I have my own challenges.
Chinda's reluctance to speak about her past may not be unconnected with the stigma associated with the phenomenon. Psychiatrist Okonkwo believes this is part of the problem.
The sociocultural implication of that is grievous. So what people do is when it happens like that, it is covered. It's making it criminal. It's not. It should instead be seen as illness that needs treatment, not criminal.
But police authorities say Section 327 of the Criminal Code Act, which criminalizes attempted suicide with a penalty of up to 1 year in prison, serves a good purpose.
The wisdom behind lawmakers criminalizing it is to see if they could discourage people.
How can depression sufferers find help?
Seeking help, talking to significant others, which could be friends, colleagues, loved ones, family, and all that. You encourage the individual to do a lot of activities, especially outdoors, activities that will exhaust him and make him to use up energy and all that.
Gina, who loves to dance, is grateful that she is alive to tell her story. But what brought Gina out of the woods?
He started taking me to a program, Youth Ablaze, there then. And whenever I go there, it's just youth. When you're there, you get to debate, you get to talk about issues, you get to talk about stuff. And I always found myself happy.
Triumphant Georgina dropped the depression and pain from her past, but she picked up a lesson, working with young people and helping them find expression against the odds of society. Bukola Samuel-Wemimo, TVC News.
That was one way to fight depression and suicide.